In a landmark moment for Africa's fight against climate change, Africa's political and business leaders who gathered in Kenya for the Africa Climate Summit 2023 have adopted the Nairobi Declaration. This agreement aims to raise a staggering $23 billion to accelerate green growth, mitigation, and adaptation efforts across the continent. The declaration was announced by Kenya's President William Ruto and received unanimous support from African heads of states and governments representing Africa's 1.3 billion people in the presence of global leaders and high-level representatives. With the continent's population set to double by 2050, the Nairobi Declaration is poised to shape Africa's negotiating stance at the upcoming COP28 summit in November. The Nairobi Declaration represents a turning point in Africa's commitment to combat climate change and create a more sustainable future. During the summit, various stakeholders including governments, the private sector, multilateral banks, and philanthropists pledged substantial commitments totaling $23 billion. President Ruto emphasized the summit's action-focused approach, heralding the transformative potential of these funds to address Africa's climate challenges. One of the pivotal goals outlined in the declaration is the significant increase in Africa's renewable energy capacity. The declaration sets an ambitious target to raise Africa's renewable capacity from 56 gigawatts in 2022 to at least 300 gigawatts by 2030. This not only addresses energy poverty but also contributes to the global supply of cost-effective, clean energy for industries worldwide. The commitment underscores the recognition that decarbonizing the global economy is not just an environmental imperative but also an opportunity to promote equality and shared prosperity. The declaration also calls for global carbon taxes on fossil fuels, aviation, and maritime transport. The Nairobi Declaration also highlights the financial disparities that hinder Africa's ability to effectively respond to climate change. Researchers estimate that Africa receives only 12% of the necessary financing to address the impacts of climate change. Additionally, African nations face significantly higher borrowing costs compared to wealthier countries, leading to recurrent debt crises and limiting their capacity to invest in climate solutions. To rectify this issue, the declaration calls for reforms within the global financial system to level the playing field for African nations. It emphasizes the need to reduce borrowing costs and encourages the processing of Africa's vast mineral wealth within the continent. These reforms aim to provide African countries with the financial resources required to mitigate and adapt to climate change effectively. The summit also witnessed the establishment of transformative partnerships, including a $60 million investment over 2 years to expand grid access in rural Burundi. Additionally, the United Arab Emirates, the host of COP28 in November, committed $4.5 billion to boost renewable energy initiatives in Africa. Notable contribution from European nations and private sector entities such as Masdar, PowerGen, Leapfrog, Cross-Boundary, and Husk Power further emphasized the importance of renewable energy in Africa's climate-positive growth. The role of Africa's youth in shaping the continent's future was a key theme at the summit. President Ruto acknowledged the innovative and forward-thinking approach of African young people who are open to new possibilities and bold in their imagination. He stressed that the continent's youthful population represents the future and urged leaders to harness their potential for positive change. The UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres highlighted Africa's potential as a renewable energy superpower, particularly in solar power generation, given the region's abundant sunlight. He called for a collaborative effort between African nations, developed nations, financial institutions, and technology companies to harness this potential. The adoption of the Nairobi Declaration marks a significant step forward in Africa's battle against climate change. With substantial financial commitment and a renewed dedication to green growth, mitigation, and adaptation, African leaders are poised to drive a sustainable and resilient future for the continent and, in doing so, inspire global climate action. Thank you for engaging. My name is Diana Ambale. And until next time, don't forget to leave a comment below, like this video, and subscribe. Stay informed and stay invested.